You're listening to Cattywampus.
Oh, I should address why we were gone, and I have like a metal spine now. But like, I'm part cyborg. I had to like Goku go off and train. I lost my tail.
That's so strangely apt.
Look, guys, I lost my tail, and I had to go out off to an island, with questionable people, and I had to do some training.
But did you look at the moon?
Yes, I did look at the moon a couple times. Yeah, there's a better joke in there somewhere where I'm like, previously on Dragon Ball. Anyway, we're back. We're back with Saga 2 of the 9 sagas of Dragon Ball. So, you know, we're two ninths of the way there, which I'm sure everyone's very excited about. This is the unaptly named Tournament Saga, since it takes half of the episodes to get to the tournament.
But at least we make it to the fireworks factory.
That's true. We do get to the tournament, and we do spend some good time there. And I'm exaggerating. I think 6 episodes is the preamble before the final like 9 are the tournament.
Something like that.
It felt like it took forever, though.
Down.
To me, at least.
My big note here is the first saga, the Emperor Pilaf saga, was 13 episodes. This one is 15, and boy, do you feel those extra 2 episodes. Not to bury the lead, I was not feeling this until we got to the tournament. Once we got to the tournament, we were falling into some familiar territory of like, hey, a martial arts tournament movie? I love those. Let's do it. You know, like I was a little bit more in. Steve, overall thoughts on the tournament saga before we get into it?
This is always like the first thing I think of when I think of the original Dragon Ball series. Is I think of this arc. And mainly I think of some of the earlier episodes that you guys are saying you didn't enjoy as much. I think about the training episode especially is like the first thing that comes to mind. The first episode where we start getting into the milk delivery and all that nonsense. That to me is quintessential, like, this is Dragon Ball when I think of it.
I will say there's some stuff in this I did like in those first 6 that I really did enjoy. Not so much the specific training stuff, but mostly that's tied to Master Roshi, and I find him to be insufferable. So I think that's like Goku and Krillin. I'm like, this is interesting. Roshi, I'm like, can someone stop this monster?
Can somebody save these children from this man?
Can someone stop? Who will stop this megalomaniacal maniac?
They can't. He's
too
strong.
That's what makes it great.
Brian, overall tournament saga thoughts?
I wasn't enjoying it very much. I think
I formally resigned from the podcast.
I always grew up on Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball never really meant much to me. I don't know that I've seen beyond what we've watched now, and
so it can only get better.
Yeah, I hope. I'm kind of bored by it. It doesn't feel like the Dragon Ball that I like. Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, all the movies around it. It just doesn't feel the same as that. And it just feels a little awkward. The humor might have landed more back in the day, maybe, but
I don't know.
It's making me a little uncomfortable now.
It was wrong then. It's wrong now. I think some of this stuff there was no way, even in 1986. This is. Oh boy.
There's just some very specific things. We'll get into it.
We'll get into it. There'll be an inquiry. So, for anyone who's not familiar, this is the second season of Dragon Ball, episodes 14 through 28, formerly known as the Tournament Saga. And so we're going to do a little bit of recap episode by episode. Episode 14. So, Goku heads to Master Roshi's island. When he arrives, Master Roshi tells him that he will only train him if Goku brings him a girlfriend. Goku first returns with a weightlifter and then a mermaid, neither working out with Roshi. Then a small boy named Krillin, who previously encountered Goku's friends making their way to West City, arrives and requests training from Master Roshi as well. After Krillin bribes Roshi with pornography, Roshi agrees to train Krillin as long as he aids Goku in his quest to return with a girlfriend for Roshi. However, Roshi learns that Krillin cannot board Goku's Nimbus Cloud, revealing that Krillin is not pure of heart and is hiding a secret. Goku finds Roshi just masturbating, I guess, to an aerobics tape.
I don't think he's going that far, but he's not going that far.
I think that's the implication, though.
Right.
Okay, so here's the thing. I wrote this as a note, and I will admit you all fell into my trap because I thought everyone was going to go, he's not masturbating. Then please explain to me the line from Master Roshi. Goku tells Roshi he's hungry. Roshi then responds, the refrigerator's in the kitchen, kid. Go grab something you like I am.
I got nothing.
I think he's straight jacking it, guys. I think he's watching that tape and straight jacking it. Otherwise, why would he say that to a 12-year-old child?
I just kind of assume he's always fucking jacking off. It just seems
he's always getting off. This is a real Dennis. It's always sunny.
He's
I'm getting off.
He's just hiding it behind his turtle shell.
Also, like, real quick, so like before we get too deep into the Goku Roshi stuff, so we do check in on Bulma, like Casey Jones, Communist Pig, the cat, whose name escapes me.
Puar.
They like crash in a plane, and I'm not quite sure how they crashed, but they just crash or whatever. And so because they're on their way back to the city, they crash. They kind of encounter Krillin without realizing who he is. Krillin is trying to find Roshi. You know, it's like it feels kind of like set up, although I don't know that it really ever pays off. But like I think it's more of like we know we should check in with these people, and we'll keep checking in, despite them not really being like basically these characters from season 1 are completely sidelined this season. They are not instrumental to the plot this season.
Casey Jones is a little bit later on.
I mean, later on they show back up, but
he is in the tournament, but he doesn't. Other than I will say this, I think it is fair. He and Bulma do provide like specific aid to Goku in the tournament, like at different times. So I do think that is true. But it's not like their journeys this season led to them giving that. Like they're not really related to the plot. Also, and getting into the whole like Goku thing, like Goku doesn't know what a fridge is, which okay, I guess Gohan didn't have a fridge, but also didn't he live with Bulma and the pig was cooking and like surely he's like I guess he hasn't seen a fridge.
There had to have been a fridge in those capsule houses they were in.
That doesn't mean he ever used them.
That's fair. I think a lot of this, I will say, I think this season forgets a lot about the growth or experiences of the characters in the first season a little bit. It does feel like a little bit of a reset, a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 situation where it feels like all the growth and learning everyone did suddenly kind of went out the window for the sequel. The big elephant in the room I want to talk about with this episode, obviously, so Roshi sends Goku, this child, out to abduct women back to his island, which is the plot of this. And he brings back this woman, and because she's a weightlifter, she has a deep voice. She's coded masculine, and that's the joke, and it sucks. And then what I thought was fascinating was that Roshi is like, oh, Goku doesn't understand like heteronormative attraction. So Goku creates like what I will call the prototype of Mark Zuckerberg's like face mash, where he holds up 2 pictures and goes, which do you think is more attractive?
Right.
Smash or pass?
And he's like, I don't know. They both look the same to me.
Is a modern man. Goku is an enlightened individual who's like, I don't know these people. I don't know what to tell you, man.
They look like humans.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, dude. I'm 12. And he brings back a mermaid. So you guys are, Brian, you're more versed in Z. Steve, you're versed, feels equally in the stuff. Mermaids, like, does this work? Do we ever see mermaids again? Is this like a one-off? Are mermaids like a thing?
As far as I remember, in this universe, things exist as they need to for the plot to function.
I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they go underwater and you do see a mermaid in the background, just randomly. Right. I wanted to bring this up. You might bring it up later, but kind of like how there's T-Rexes all throughout the land, and later on, there's the joke about it. But if you're going to bring it up later, we can wait.
Boy, this show will tell you there are dinosaurs and then go just enough episodes so that you forget there are dinosaurs, and then suddenly there are dinosaurs again.
But I'm sure throughout the next 600 episodes or whatever of everything, there's got to be at least one more mermaid.
I would hope so. This is like how, like, and Steve, you might be familiar with this. Brian, this might be news to you. Superman had a mermaid girlfriend as a young man in the comics.
That's
I
definitely news to
vaguely
me.
remember this.
Lori Lomaris, I believe is her name.
I was about to say I couldn't tell you her name. I just remember
This is a
was...
thing I know. But Superman had a mermaid girlfriend. It's just one of those weird details about Superman, which, by the way, I have no foreknowledge of the upcoming movie. That feels like such a James Gunn move, right? Superman's going to have a mermaid girlfriend in his past.
At least it'll be an X.
And also, I wanted to also bring up something, which is how fucking notorious is Roshi that a child from across the continent knows that I need to show up with porn to get this guy to do what I want.
You know, they never really address that.
Like, Krillin knows that he brought porn.
Everybody knows how he is, but they never really address why he is that way.
Oh, they don't. But like, they don't have to. He just is that way. But like, everyone, the world knows Master Roshi. He's the famous martial artist.
He's a Harvey Weinstein. Like, Krillin knew exactly what to do. This 11-year-old child knew. So, episode 15. Because Krillin cannot sit on the Nimbus Cloud, he is forced to cling to Goku's back during their search for another woman for Roshi. They find a woman, Launch. That's her name, by the way. That's not like a command I'm giving everyone. She's being attacked by two men. Goku defeats the attackers, and they bring Launch back to Master Roshi's island. Unknown to either of them, Launch was being arrested when they found her. When she sneezes, she turns into like a dashing blonde criminal and has recently robbed a train. Roshi agrees to take her on as a student, I say in quotation marks, along with Goku and Krillin. Launch sneezes and then takes out a machine gun and opens fire after seeing how she's been deceived. But after another sneeze, she recovers. Launch is a complicated figure, but I will say I liked Launch. I actually really liked the action in this episode. Like, if you talk about like some of the early like parts of the non-Torment stuff, is the fact that she was on like a hover unicycle and like robbed like space train. I was like, this is like, I'm liking this like proto Cowboy Bebop shit. This is like working for me.
I've never done enough homework to really know what the inspiration for Launch's character was.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's my favorite character and favorite part of this entire arc. Possibly.
She was for me. She's number 2 for me because somebody else showed up later, and I was like, I fucking love this. But she's got obviously like it's like a Jekyll Hyde thing. They are aware of each other. Like, she's like, oh, I must have done this. Oh, those were real cops. I woke up with money, so I must have robbed a thing.
Oops.
But also, it's just, it's a Western sci-fi anime sequence. It was really fun, There was a like weird moment with Krillin and Goku. Well, there's several, but there was one where Krillin realizes Goku can't discern gender. Like as set up in season 1, where Goku has to slap people's genitals to realize what gender they are, and Krillin like points this out to Goku, and Goku says literally the words. Again, this is all in the English dub. By the way, English dub Crunchyroll. That's how I watch this. I checked over on the Japanese versions a couple times throughout the season, but generally English dub Crunchyroll. But Goku responds, they all look the same to me, which is like this weird, chilling, like alien foreshadowing. Like, obviously I know he's an alien. Like that's like the big piece of foreknowledge I have about this is he's an alien. But it was very like, it was a real like day the earth stood still. Like, oh no, is Goku gonna kill us all?
He's basically Omni-Man.
It was hilarious when he was like, when Krillin like realized this and feels the need, like, hey, I should tell you I'm a boy before you slap me in the genitals. Not to be too sympathetic to Krillin, because he pisses on a frog intentionally. It's a weird, later, so
it's a weird shot. Yeah.
He sucks. Krillin sucks. He's a disgusting shit boy. I don't care for him.
He can never recover from this.
In any other, like, it's one of those things where I can't tell the creator's intent, because I'm like, typically when you watch someone like torture an animal, that means they're the villain. But the show doesn't seem to want me to think that about Krillin.
Just another one of those weird moments where I'm like, I don't think I understand the humor. Like, it's just weird.
I did like the moment with Krillin. I will say this. I did like in this episode, Krillin leans over to Launch and is basically like, hey, he's just a fucking dirty old man. Just play along. We're gonna con this guy.
Which is why it's one of those. Krillin sucks, but at the same time, is he the worst person in the room?
Well,
not
in the land
usually.
In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is good.
As long as Roshi's there, Krillin's still fine.
Like, Roshi is he's basically a sex cultist, like, on an island with child soldiers. Like, he's, like, really terrifying. Like, he dresses Launch in this episode, and the two children and himself in lingerie, which is, like, fucking insane. Like,
You could not do a live adaptation of this.
you shouldn't. You'd be thrown in
You
jail, and
can't,
rightfully
and you should
so.
not.
There are literally laws against it. Krillin and Roshi react the same way to the bullets that Goku does. And Goku is obviously like a nigh immortal alien. Are they setting up that Krillin has some kind of like, is Krillin a human? Do you guys obviously know who this is?
Yes.
I know enough to know he's an adult later. Like we'll see him later.
He's a human, and it seems like anyone that is even remotely capable of fighting in the show is not affected by
bullet to
bullets.
the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, they take a bullet to the head. Okay, fair enough.
I'm not sure what it is about the training they receive, but apparently it just makes their skin fucking impenetrable.
Yeah, and it actually comes up multiple times later that why don't bullets work? This doesn't make sense.
And with Roshi, like, as Roshi has displayed more and more ability, I kind of like get that. I was like, well, yeah, he's like this like mystical martial arts way, you know, that fair enough. Like that's the language of the show. I was just curious about Krillin, and I find Krillin's design to be like in this weird uncanny valley for me. I find him physically hard to look at.
I don't like the way he looks in Dragon Ball. It doesn't bother me as much in Z, but it is still weird. He's a weird looking dude.
He's just really stumpy, and I don't understand it.
Yeah, and he's so... Oh, God, I should not say this. I should not describe an 11-year-old boy this way. Why is he so smooth? I don't like it. Why is he shiny and reflective?
The smoothness never goes away. He's always
I
like
don't
that.
care for it. I don't. He's like an Eggman, but like if you put Vaseline on an egg, and I don't like it. I don't like any of it.
Don't they call him Egghead like a billion times?
At some point, someone does refer to him that
Right.
way, at least in this season once, yeah. Episode 16, Master Roshi packs up his house in a dino capsule, and the four head to a larger island for training. Master Roshi tests the boys' speed by timing them in a 100-meter dash. Krillin narrowly defeats Goku, then Goku defeats Krillin once he has new shoes, but Roshi outdoes them both easily. Roshi then marks a stone and throws it into the woods. The loser must fast until tomorrow. Krillin tries to trick Master Roshi with a stone he has marked himself, but Roshi isn't fooled. Goku finds the stone, but Krillin steals it. The two of them fight, and Goku wins, so Krillin throws a decoy stone back into the woods. Goku runs after it, thinking it's the real one. Krillin takes the real stone back to Roshi. However, Krillin gets his comeuppance as Launch made pufferfish for dinner, not knowing it was poisonous. That is this episode. Jeffrey Epstein has nothing on Master Roshi, because apparently he has more than one island for sex trafficking. Though apparently other people already live on this island, so this guy just continues to suck in new and interesting ways.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to really be said about this episode. It's just giving you more insight into Krillin's personality, I think, more than anything else.
Yeah.
Or at least who they want you to think Krillin is, but eventually they stop doing that, so it's weird.
Episode 17. After a misunderstanding with Goku renders Launch unconscious, Roshi tasks Determined Boy and One Punch Pokemon Guy with delivering milk on foot as part of their training. After delivering the milk to a monk at the top of the mountain, Master Roshi tells them that in 8 months they will be competing in the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament. Meanwhile, Goku's friends have made it to civilization, and Yamcha is also training for the tournament. The narrator refers to this episode at the beginning as the first full day of training, and I'm sorry, but what the fuck have we been doing for the last 2 episodes then?
Mostly just collecting women.
Collecting women, that's true. Well, which Roshi will tell you is a different form of training / grooming. Hey, look, despite Goku's genital slapping, I get why Launch bunks with him, if given the 3 options.
Yeah.
I did like it when she opened fire on Goku, and Goku it looked like he murdered her with that attack. She's fucking dead.
Sweeps her under the bed. Oops.
He would if Roshi weren't trying to touch her corpse.
No ideas.
Also, this is the real moment I'm starting to feel the Dragon Ball franchise pacing creep. where it's like in 8 months there's a tournament, and I'm like, 8 months? What are you talking about?
It's the next 30 episodes. Buckle up.
Why not 7? Like 7, not 8, not 7, not 9, not a year, not 6 months, 8. Like what? And they showed you this flash, and I will say it's a lot of promise, where it's like there's a boxing gorilla and he's gonna fight Bruce Lee, and I'm like, okay, well that seems promising, but you're telling me it's 8 months away. And then speaking of stereotypes, obviously this cannot compare to how do they depict black people, but what is up with the Italian stereotype that Casey Jones is fighting back in the city?
Yeah, I didn't remember that. That was weird.
Has Japan just like never seen other culture? Like they were in a world war. They've seen other people, right?
You would think, but I don't know.
Like everyone is the most ethnic person in the world in Dragon Ball. What's a Chinese person look like? He looks like Bruce Lee. You're like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, that comes up more than once.
I'm sure. Oh,
it gets worse later.
I mean, oh boy, we're gonna get to some. Episode 18. While Goku and Krillin continue their training with Roshi, fighters from all locations develop their skills and train for the impending tournament. Could have been a montage, should have been a montage, sort of was a montage, but had too much dialogue and lactical Rocky Force on, so it doesn't count.
Pretty much.
This is about
kind of a
accurate for that
nonsense
episode.
I don't know when this aired compared to the manga, but usually they had to pad the anime to keep up with the manga. So that was why they were kind of extending it.
That's hilarious that it's quicker to make the animation than to make the manga.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess
in a lot of cases it comes up like that.
Yeah.
It just shows you how much animation has changed in 40 years, where it's like now the animation will be, it just takes so long.
Oh, it takes forever.
Yeah. You never have to worry about that anymore. Like, that's never the issue.
That's like, I just finished Kaiju number 8. It was only 12 episodes. I didn't know anime was getting that short now. Like, that's crazy to me.
Everything's
it makes me want to watch
now.
it even more.
Well, and Chainsaw Man only had the first season, and now instead of doing a second season, they're doing a movie, apparently. I guess it's just more income and easier to make or something.
Oh, I mean, that's just the new thing for anime, too, considering we just found that out about Demon Slayer, that instead of the last season, we're getting 3 movies.
I mean, they do well internationally, which I think is also the big change.
Yeah, and
You're just going to make more money.
It has to make more money than just putting it on Crunchyroll or something. Like, or I guess airing it on TV and then Crunchyroll.
Well, I think the difference is that while the Japanese box office was always like robust for anime films, it's expanded where it's actually robust. They get a good showing in China, they get a good showing in America and India. Like these movies actually pull in profit, and so it makes more sense to be like, well, why would you? I mean, actually, there was a point where, if you recall, Game of Thrones, like halfway through the series, Warner Brothers was seriously considering not doing final seasons, but doing like 3 movies as a final season to recoup the cost they would have to spend into the production value. And then, of course, like the economics of TV changed by the time it ended, which, of course, now they're changing back the other way. But it's all cyclical. It's interesting. Yeah, the Demon Slayer thing is interesting, how like it feels like a transitional anime where now I'm curious to see the first anime that actually is just a series of movies based on like a long-running manga, as opposed to a series, a television series at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's somebody's going to do that, right? Or like they're going to do something where like, I started Pluto, the Pluto adaptation on Netflix.
Right. And
it's basically 8 episodes, and each episode's an hour, 20 minutes based on one of the manga volumes. And, in the past, that would have been 26 or 52 episodes really cut up. And now they're just straight adapting them at near feature length.
So
and
now
I'm
it's just
wondering
8
where we're
movies,
get that
basically.
Basically, yeah. It's like 8 episodes, but each episode's at 70 to 80 minutes. Well, I mean, that's a movie.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the announcement of we will be making 6 animated Akira movies, 1 for each phone book.
Yeah.
Which, I said that out loud. That actually sounds kind of exciting.
Now I want it.
Why not?
Yeah.
Honestly, do that. That sounds great. I'd see that. I love that original movie. I love how concise it is. I love the flex of we created a coherent 2-hour movie out of 6 phone books. But it would be interesting to see those 6 phone books. It just wouldn't be 400 episodes interesting, I think is the difference.
Right.
But I don't know anything ever was 400 episodes interesting.
Apparently One Piece is, but I'll never do that, so.
No.
Yeah, I don't believe there's a lot of those people. I believe those freaks are vocal and loud. And you know what? Come at me. Come at me about your stupid pirate show. That's fine. I'm sure it's great. I'll never know because it's 9,000 episodes.
I don't know. Maybe once we finish this podcast, we could move on to the
when
One
we're
Piece
dead, when we're
podcast.
octogenarians. Yeah, absolutely.
It's perfect. It's how I want to spend my twilight years.
If you
The good
announce
life.
that we're doing a One Piece podcast, I think I'm gonna move to a desert island or Roshi's
I will
Island.
never do that. No, I would never do that because like one of us would have to already love it. Like I'm doing this because you guys like Dragon Ball.
Right.
I mean, I don't hate One Piece, but I only made it about 100 episodes in before I went, I can't do this.
No,
I'm
if
not
I made
even
you all.
I'm not even a percentage in. Like, I'm not a decent percentage
Yeah,
in,
that's the
and
problem.
it's 100 fucking episodes.
You
I
watch
can't
one
do this.
episode. One episode is less than 1% of it. That is insane. That is insane.
And on top of the 1,000 whatever, what is it? 1,600 now.
I don't think it's 1,600. I think it's in the 1,300s.
I'm looking at
It's
it right
up
now.
12
Let's
or-
see.
Might be
Even-
in the 1100s.
Even on top of that, you still have the movies too.
Right. And unlike Dragon Ball, those movies are canon.
As of July 14th, so as of July, so 4 days from our recording, the 1,112th episode will air.
For some reason, I thought it was more than that.
No.
Well, here's the thing. There are recap specials that don't get episode numberings. There are other things that are not part of the episode count. So I think it's just
Gotcha.
the core episodes are it's at 11/12. But I see supplemental stuff,
yeah, no,
which is
thank you.
also crazy. Like, so like Netflix, they make a live action show. What's the end game for that? Forget Game of Thrones and George R. R. Martin not finishing books.
You're never getting there.
Right.
What's like? Let's say it was a huge success and there were like 10 seasons. You still can't. What are you even gonna get to? My God. Oh my God. That's
Even
just
Dragon Ball Z
brain-breaking.
Kai, where they cut it from what 200 something episodes down to like 100. Even if they gave it that treatment for the Netflix live adaptation, they'd
That's
still
600 episodes.
like,
Bro, even if there were each episode was an hour and covered 4 episodes, that's still more episodes than Netflix has ever made of anything ever. That's still
impossible.
It's never gonna happen. It's 10 times the amount of the average Netflix show's episodes.
It's why I was kind of shocked they made the One Piece show to begin with and didn't just do a movie like that. It's just weird to me.
I have a feeling if it does actually continue, it's going to get an ending a la Game of Thrones, where the
We don't have time.
they're just going to make
Every
something
character
up.
have you ever seen those supercuts from season 7 and 8 of Game of Thrones where it's multiple characters repeatedly going, we don't have time. Like a scene will start and a character will go, we don't have time. We gotta end this conflict to move on to the next thing.
Got to end this conflict to move on to the next conflict.
Yeah, we gotta get this done. We gotta go make 3 Star Wars movies that'll definitely happen. Whoops. That's less on them. Only a fool leaves something for a Star Wars movie at this point. That's like leaving something because you expect to find a unicorn.
It's just going to be the holiday special release to theaters.
I mean, it's supposed to be that Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and honestly, if it's just them celebrating Life Day, I don't know that you could do much worse. I don't. Honestly, at this point. Anyway, episode 19. After several months of strength, endurance, and agility training, Goku and Krillin wish for Roshi to begin teaching fighting techniques. However, Roshi tells them that he has no techniques to teach. I'm going to interject here and say Roshi is lying. That turtle hermit training is meant to only condition the body. The day before the tournament, Goku reunites with his friends, Bulma, Ulan, Puar, and this always sounds wrong every time I say it,
I like how there was
and
a
Yamcha.
question on that.
Because that's how they say it sometimes in the dub. They're like, Puar. And Yamcha, who himself has recently returned after his own training in the woods. I gotta tell you, so Crunchyroll, popped up the title, when I skip between episodes, I skip credits, go to the next episode. And Crunchyroll popped up the title and said the tournament begins, and I cheered. And then the narrator let me know that training was still going, and I fucking booed my own TV. I was like, how dare you sell me a bill of goods?
Still got at least 2 or 3 episodes left.
The tournament begins. Training is still underway. Fuck you. Yep. Fuck you, Dragon Ball. So I would say Roshi kind of pulls a Mr. Miyagi on these kids, except Mr. Miyagi's lessons are actually applicable to kung fu, to karate. Waxing the car does lead to blocking. Roshi carrying milk does fucking nothing. Like, he is not teaching them shit. I get that it makes them stronger, but they have no. This is the part that does kind of lose me, is that I understand he's building up their bodies, but they have no technique, and Roshi is lying to them. So how do they figure out the technique part?
Well, they had already trained in some martial arts.
Has Goku? Was his grandfather?
Yeah, his
Yeah.
grandfather was teaching him. So they've already trained in martial arts to some degree.
And
They just thought that they were going to Roshi to get even more specialized training. When it turns out all he was doing was, breaking their backs to make them superhuman.
Yeah, and sending them out to collect women.
And I
Like
don't.
you do.
It doesn't come up until Dragon Ball Z because he's not a Saiyan until Dragon Ball Z. But also, Goku getting beaten down or beaten up or whatever makes him stronger regardless.
Oh, is he like Doomsday?
Well, that's how Saiyans work. Is every time they get their ass beat, they come back stronger. The closer
Got
to
it.
death they were, the stronger they come back.
I like Brian's hesitation of like,
I
maybe.
don't know anything about Doomsday.
That's Doomsday's thing. So
Okay.
yes, Superman. So you're Doomsday, the guy who killed Superman in the comics,
Yeah.
and was a weird Lord of the Rings troll in the Batman v Superman movie.
Uh-huh.
His whole thing was a scientist built him, like genetically engineered him, and killed him. Took the surviving genetic material, recloned him, and just kept doing it. So he took the parts that survived every attack till eventually he's unkillable, unstoppable, but also full of rage because all of his genetic memory is like, my
Being
father
killed.
murdered me millions of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, kinda.
It's also stupid. Just to be clear, this is all. It's equally stupid.
But yeah,
Doomsday is stupid.
basically that, just without hating his parents.
It's just as stupid, and arguably a lot less fun than Dragon Ball. Yeah. So I also like that Bulma like doesn't recognize Yamcha when he comes back, despite like him having just a small amount of facial hair, and Bulma also seems to only seemingly have one adult human friend, and it's this guy. But I don't know. I guess she doesn't give a shit. One of my favorite parts of this season, I like that Launch gave Goku and Krillin adorable suits and hats. I thought they looked so cute. I thought that was delightful. Goku doesn't know what an airplane is, despite I'm pretty sure he was in an airplane last season with Bulma.
More than once, I think.
Yeah, like those Dino Capsule airplane. Like I again, it's just stuff where I'm like, you were just. Does he have like amnesia? Does he? Have,
He does get hit on the head a lot.
That's fair, and I guess every time like he becomes like the ape and gets knocked out, he seems to really like lose a lot. You know, maybe
Missing
Goku
days at a time.
Oh shit, Goku needs to see like a doctor. It's like something's really like I get his body's impervious, but I think his mind is quite fragile at this point.
That might explain why he is the way he is later.
Oh yeah, like in the movie we watched where I'm like, this guy's a fucking idiot.
Oh no! It turns out he was just a victim.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, in so many ways, just by living on an island of Master Roshi, that makes you a victim. You're a victim. You are being held against your will, even if you don't know it or not. Episode 20. The tournament finally begins. For real this time. No takes backsies. The preliminary rounds of the tournament begin. There's 4 tracks. The top 2 from each will move on. Goku inadvertently overpowers his first opponent in his first match and realizes he's now incredibly strong thanks to Roshi's training. Krillin's first opponent is an enemy from his old martial arts school, but at Goku's urging, he kicks his opponent so hard that he breaks a hole in the wall. Yamcha also easily defeats his opponent, and after the first day, all 3 of our heroes advance to the quarterfinal round. Everyone is a racial stereotype. It's weird. Also, refresh my memory. Did the communist pig did he always want to fuck Bulma, or is that new for this season? I don't remember from last season if he actually had
remember in the last, how we met him is that he was luring girls back to his dungeon.
Right, but was it Bulma specifically, or is he just an opportunistic?
He's opportunistic.
He's a Roshi. He's a Roshi in training.
Yeah.
He and Roshi should share notes like in a fucking episode of Hannibal, you know. If Roshi's Hannibal Lecter and Pig is that violinist. Brian knows what I'm talking about.
I can see that.
That's a reference to all you Hannibal fans. That's a reference to all you fans of a show that went off the air 10 years ago, I think.
That sounds, that might be 11 years ago.
Also, this is something I really like about fantasy sci-fi stuff that like of this type. Like, this is a Star Wars thing, like a positive Star Wars thing, where you're just like, holy shit, it's a wolf man. No explanation. There's a wolf man. Kind of like the mermaid. Yeah. We're like, oh shit, a wolf man.
They just exist.
They just exist. And it's like, oh wow, there's just a thing in the world. They're a wolf men. Love it. And I like that there's gonna be a callback to the wolf man that I really like. Let's see. Next, the 21st episode, Goku and Krillin, they reconnect with Bulma, Ulan, and Puar before the final start. Master Roshi arrives late and then mysteriously disappears. Krillin fights in the first match against Bacterian, a giant whose stench is paralyzing. However, Goku reminds Krillin that he doesn't have a nose, so Krillin is able to overpower Bacterian. Okay, I hope everyone wants to buckle up, because I have about an hour of discussion I'd like to have about this. This broke me a little bit. One, first of all, I understand this is like a personal thing and not a reflection on the show. I am not a fan of body humor, so I think Bacterian is the worst character ever created in fiction. I
wouldn't
fucking
disagree.
hate this shit. I get the point is that he's disgusting, but like, why? Why are we doing this?
And it took it way further than I thought it would.
It just kept going.
It just kept going. And this is the one episode. I'm just sitting on the couch watching this on like a Saturday morning or whatever. And my girlfriend came over and she walks in and she sits down on the couch. She was just like, what the fuck? And I was like, I don't know. This is not my Dragon Ball. Like, I don't know what this is.
It was crazy. Like I
specifically when I think it was when he farted on Krillin's face.
You could pick
she
like
walked
6 moments of the because in Dragon Ball, in fashion of this franchise, the fight is probably about half the episode. It's like a 20 minutes of animation with the intertitle, the opening, and you cut it all out. You have about like 10-minute chunks, and it's basically 10 minutes of the episode. It's a lot.
Yeah,
like
it feels like forever.
It was the nadir of this podcast. It is the worst thing I have ever seen for this show. And I watched Ernest Goes to Africa. I will remind you. I paid money for Ernest Goes to Africa to watch it. I gave Google money to rent it on YouTube. I gave one of the most evil corporations in the world money to watch Ernest Goes to Africa. This was worse. Fucking hate Bacteria. I won't bury the lead for all of you. There's a fighter in this named Jackie Chun. It's Master Roshi in disguise, and we'll get to why later as the episodes continue. I have questions. Is Jackie Chan a real actor in this universe, and that's a reference Roshi is making?
He could have worn a mask. He could have done anything.
He could have done anything. Or he could have fucking stayed out of it, because his reasoning is spurious at best for doing this.
I'm curious what his name in the actual manga or originally in Japanese was, because I feel like Jackie Chun is 100% just a localization thing. Like, this is just a choice we made when localizing.
That's a good call. Actually, hold on. I'm just going to type in Jackie Chun translation Dragon Ball and see if anybody is.
The name of the chapter is The Mysterious Jackie Chun.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I got nothing for you.
I think this is a reference to a huge international movie star in the 80s. I think this is him. I think it's got to be something similar because like he's in Chinese martial art attire. He's not Japanese. Roshi is coded as Japanese generally as a character.
Right.
And this disguise is coded as Chinese. So, like, it feels like it is specific. Same way, like, there's the Bruce Lee guy who just looks and sounds like Bruce Lee, who I guess in this universe, if it's Jackie Chan, I guess his name's like Bryce Lee. I don't know. Like, I don't know who the fuck that is. They never name him as far as I recall. And then here's the final thing. I hesitate to return to the Bacterian fight, but I have to address this. So Krillin doesn't have a nose?
I mean,
I don't think it's ever really addressed again, is it?
I don't think so. But
the
his
narrator
character
will remind you that it happened in the next episode
Yeah.
and several episodes moving forward. But, like, so that's not a design choice from the animators. They're saying he genetically does not have an olfactory sensor and is just psychologically believes he does. And Goku reminds him that that's not a design choice. You literally don't have a nose.
That's
But
how it
he's
would
human.
appear, yes.
So, like, if you were to, let's say the Dragon Ball Evolution movie was successful and it got a sequel, they would have to digitally remove the actor playing Krillin's nose like fucking, like, Ralph Fiennes as Voldemort.
Now I'm kind of disappointed we never got the sequel.
Yeah, I guess we all should have shown up more. We really should have supported that.
hey, I saw it in theaters. I did my part.
You're doing, you know what, Brian? Right. We have no leg to stand on. Steve and I, we're in the wrong. You did your part.
Found the real fan.
You did your duty.
So Akira Toriyama did a Q&A, and they said, why doesn't Krillin have a nose? And apparently he paused,
please.
and he said, Krillin has a physical idiosyncrasy that allows him to breathe through his skin. That was his response, apparently.
So that's
so
bullshit.
so Hideo Kojima and Akira Toriyama both had the same idea. Brilliant.
So there's that. There's so why isn't Krillin just naked all the time like that woman? Okay, but let's take a step back from that. The question was, why doesn't he have a nose? And Akira Toriyama actually said, well, this is how he smells. And I would be like, sir, that was not the question. The question is, why doesn't he have a nose? Not how does he function without one? That's I
It might have been lost.
philosophically
It might have been lost in
understand.
translation, also.
The question was, why doesn't he have a nose? And Toriyama's response was, he doesn't fucking need one.
His response was, well, he accounts for it's like if I was like, well, why is Daredevil blind? It's like, well, he can see with radar. So it's like, no, why is he blind? What happened? He was hit with chemicals is the answer. Like, there's an answer for Daredevil.
I feel like the Toriyama, the real answer is, I just didn't think about it.
Well, it's a real Looney Tunes moment. Like really, like it's that meta duck amuck. Like, we're in an animated show and like Goku realizes it, which would be fine if it happened more. I would say this at 21 episodes in, I needed that to happen sooner to get used to the idea that that's something that could happen in the show. And it doesn't sound like, is that going to happen a lot again? Like are we going to get more of those meta reality?
I don't think there's any
moments?
more references to his nose, but just reading this, it sounds like he does have nosebleeds, and he does have, at some point, I guess, boogers. And yeah, I don't know. At some point, he's going to have a nosebleed from his non-existent nose.
Like I would say the equivalent would be, let's say in episode like 3, somebody tried to tussle Goku's hair and then realized they were immovable spikes. You know, like, oh no, that's not a design choice. That's like a physical difference. Like, that would be the equivalent joke. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you go to tussle this little boy's hair, and you go, ow, it hurts. It's like a sharp, unmovable spike. That's like the equivalent thing. But that stuff doesn't, to my recollection, has not happened yet in the show until this moment. And you all could tell me, or I guess Steve could tell me, because Brian, you said you haven't seen past this. I don't think this is going to happen a lot again, is it?
I'm trying to think, because I've been watching, and I don't recall. It hasn't. Not that I recall. I don't remember any of these weird meta like jokes occurring further than this.
Yeah, granted, my sample size is very small, but I think it was just jarring that in episode 21 of 28, it's like the only time it happened. I went, wait, we can do that? I didn't know we could do that. I didn't know we could Roger Rabbit it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know we were in that world. But
I mean, well, I guess to a degree that does come up later, much later in the series, like, because I've continued to watch forward just because I've been enjoying watching it again, and I've reached a point in the series where it does that kind of Looney Tunes logic does apply again.
Okay. Well, at least they continue it, because I was like, whoa. Like, I was like, whoa. It's that moment where, and actually, to be fair, there is one more moment in this season where it does sort of happen in a more subtle way. And I went, wait, what kind of show is this? But we will get there. So anyway, that was episode 21. Let us never speak of Bacterian ever again. Episode 22.
You're getting a Bacterian figure for Christmas.
I will burn your house down if you send me that.
I don't even know if it exists.
I will send him back, and he will be a bomb. Do not do that. I am like, you may send me any other thing I dislike. I am not joking. Do not send me Bacterian. I am telling everyone right now, that is a crossed line.
All right, got it.
You could do anything else.
I'm totally not Googling to see if that's a thing that I could do right now.
I fucking hate Bacterian.
It sucks, but it would be a figure with scratch and sniff features. Would have to be.
I fucking hate all of this. I'm moving on.
Anyway.
Episode 22. I'm powering through.
Good news, Brian. This is totally a thing that we could do.
Oh, no, I don't. I'm not. I'm not doing it. Where did you find it? I don't see it on Amazon.
There's one on eBay.
How much is it?
Probably too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too much. It's like $84.
Oh God, they make little pop figures of it too.
Yep.
Oh, I hate this. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, most of the Dragon Ball figures are super expensive now.
Well, this one's only $23.
Is it the little pop figure thing?
The little itty bitty, yeah. I guess you would call it a pop figure.
Yeah, it's like one of the little vinyl figures.
You found a pop figure of Bacteria.
You're like,
right,
okay, I need to see it.
Show me the fucking link. Show me the link so I can get the dimensions so I can start pre-screening packages.
There's a few figures. Some of them are rare and like out of print or whatever, but there are a handful of them. Yep.
Ugh, Jesus fucking Christ. At least he's colored in a less racially divisive way. It's like the toy manufacturer saw an image of him and went, I don't think so. They're like, no, I'm not doing that.
Oh, there's someone made
a
figure of the moment where he puts his hand.
Someone like a lone nut, like a Timothy McVeigh. Like, what do you mean?
This is
someone
a
made
custom
a
figure that someone made. And it is specifically him putting his hand down the front of his pants and Krillin. Like, yeah, it's awful.
Fuck me. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Anyway, let's move on.
This is a nightmare. Episode 22. Episode 22. Yamcha faces Jackie Chun in the second match, but Jackie Chun defeats him. The third match between Nam and Ranfan begins. Ranfan?
Yeah, it was. I think it was Ranfan.
Ranfan begins. Nam is fighting for prize money to bring water to his village. Nam hits Ranfan, and she fakes tears to take advantage of Nam's hesitation. When Nam is able to defend himself, she undresses as a distraction. Jackie Chun's leering causes Yamcha to recognize Jackie as Master Roshi in disguise. Nam closes his eyes and finishes the fight blind, defeating Ranfan. Let's talk about Nam. This is when I switched over to the Japanese dub to see, are they doing a voice? And they're not. He does not have an accent like what they are doing in the English dub, where he has a very stereotypical, like comedic Indian accent. So I kind of switched back and forth during these scenes out of curiosity. I gotta tell you, Nam's flashbacks kind of got to me, and I was like, I like Nam. Nam better fucking win this tournament. Like, finally, somebody to root for. Like a good person trying to do the right thing. I felt a flashback to our time watching the first season when Bulma when Bulma, somebody asked, I don't know if it was the cat or Ulan or whatever, communist pig, and they asked, like, isn't Yamcha your boyfriend? And Bulma went, he is, but I can still keep my eyes open for an upgrade. I was like, right, you were the worst fucking person. I remember you.
And boyfriend that you didn't recognize?
Yeah, right? He was gone for 4 weeks. Like,
He got a haircut?
he didn't even get the haircut till after they saw each other.
Oh, for some reason
He
I
just
thought...
had a small beard.
He's had
Okay.
longer hair and a weird beard, and
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah. He looked as different as I did the last time we saw each other, guys. Like, and we're not dating. You know who I am.
Maybe they all have brain damage.
I think Goku has brain damage and everyone else here is the worst person in
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah, they're not great.
Except for Nam, who I love. I was like, I like Nam. This is working for me.
I am very curious if I rewatch Dragon Ball Z, if my original memories of all these characters are...
You mean when?
Yeah.
Because we're getting
Sorry, that's what I meant. When we watched Dragon Ball Z, I don't remember anyone sucking this much. I'm sure there's at least a little bit of Roshi being ridiculous, but I do not remember any character being this terrible.
I mean, you could tone down Roshi 70%. He'd still be one of the worst people in the world.
I mean, Yajirobe sucked pretty bad.
Who's Yajirobe?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so excited.
I'm pretty
So
sure he
excited.
shows. I'm pretty sure he shows up later in Dragon Ball. It's been years since I
He's-
watched, but yeah.
He's got to be in Dragon
Well, I'm
Ball.
excited to get to the next saga. Maybe he'll show up there. I all I know about the next saga is I've seen the word android and cyborg in a lot of the titles, and I'm like, okay.
Ooh. Are we getting to the army?
It's called the Red Ribbon
Yep.
Army is the next saga. I just saw android and cyborg, and I was like, I'm an android / cyborg now. This is of my interests.
Yajirobe will show up in the King Piccolo saga.
Okay.
Okay, the 8th of 9 sagas.
So-
Wow.
Yeah,
Give
towards
it-
the end.
Give it a while. We'll be there.
Get there. Roshi, speaking of Roshi and his reign of terror, here he is again feeling up an unconscious woman. I did like that he did that, and then I should not phrase it that way. Gonna cut that. I liked Yamcha's reaction to. So Roshi feels him up, and Casey Jones looks and goes, "Oh yeah, that's definitely Master Roshi."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No
that's
one
him.
else would do that.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I know this guy. Yeah, I know this fucking guy. Episode 23. Goku's match is postponed by rain. While they're waiting for the weather to clear up, they hold up in a bar. Giron, Goku's opponent, is mocked by the monks from Krillin's old temple and attacks them. Yamcha also warns Goku that Giron will cheat. When the match starts, Giron tricks Goku, but Goku is able to throw Giron out of the ring. However, Giron reveals he can fly and returns before hitting the ground. He then throws Goku out of the ring, but Goku is able to call the Nimbus Cloud in turn. As they continue to fight, Goku's tail suddenly grows back, allowing him to display additional strength and balance that forces Giron to forfeit. Didn't know a series could just pull an episode on account of rain. Could just be like, actually, no, like in a real sporting event, we can take our time. Again, that 15 episode count. I was just like, oh wow, you could just, like in a real sporting event, you could just be like, actually, we don't have to do an episode this week. We can all just hang out at a bar.
I was kind of hoping they were gonna fight in the rain.
I liked that they fought, that they didn't want to back down. I thought that was
They
cool.
had that moment where they were just like standing there staring at each other in the rain. And I was like, oh, they're just gonna do it. Like they're just like, fuck it, we're going.
They're gonna Matrix 3 it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really disappointed that they just cut to the bar and they didn't do it.
Giron is like, for anyone who hasn't seen him, he's kind of like a kaiju, like he's half kaiju, half Elliot from Pete's Dragon, like the titular dragon. I will say this, I am a sucker for any kind of like creature in a hat and a coat. Like you know how like when like Raphael would walk among the humans without like Master Splinter's permission?
Yeah.
I really like that.
Was Heathcliff the cat that wore the hat and the coat?
I'm sure he has. Yes, okay. I think I've seen that imagery, and that's the only thing I know about Heathcliff, other than he's like Garfield but shittier.
Yeah.
That's hard to do given Garfield's shittiness. Also, Giron is right. The Nimbus Cloud is totally cheating. I don't know why they allowed it, and if the fact that they said he can't use it again tells you they shouldn't have let him do it in the first place.
Yeah, I've never really understood.
Just get a mulligan, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically it's like you cheated but we think it's fine, but don't do it again. Like what Tom Brady bullshit is this?
It was fun. We'll allow it.
Yeah, exactly. It just feels like it was one of those, well, you got to fly once, he gets to fly once.
But they don't tell
Fuck it.
Giron not to fly again, and there will be a lot of flying later, guys, that they are going to totally allow. I don't know. Do we like Giron? I kind of like Giron. Does Giron come back? I like that he forfeited. I thought that was interesting.
Actually, believe it or not, yeah, Giron does come back briefly.
So, like, episode 24, like, the first, so that's the first semifinal. It begins a Krillin and Jackie Chun fight. Jackie Chun's punches are too fast for Krillin to see. He attacks Jackie, and after a brief instant, they fly away from each other. The announcer has to ask them to reenact what happened, and after the reenactment, Krillin's able to distract Jackie with a pair of panties and kicks him far out of the ring. But Jackie uses the Kamehameha wave to blast himself back in. He then uses the after image technique to distract Krillin, allowing him to knock Krillin out. After the match, Yamcha tries but fails to reveal Jackie as Roshi. What was the weirdness where Bulma was like, fucking Goku lied to me about his age. I thought he was older, closer to my age. And I was like, what is this nonsense happening right now?
I don't know. That's some weird exposition that never really fits. It's just like, at no point did they ever really
the only time they
discuss
ever
age.
talked about age was when he was it the scene where he was like giving her a bath and he was like, I'm trying to remember. They talked about age during that, I thought.
I think you're right. And also, like, she did call him, like, a pervert a lot. Maybe her reflecting going, oh, he was just a child.
Yeah.
Maybe I was in the wrong for opening fire on him and accusing him of sexual assault all the time.
Well, to be fair, everyone else in this universe is guilty of sexual assault.
Including Bulma.
Including Bulma. She's a fucking Elon Musk calling everybody a pedophile. She's calling 2 children pedophiles all the time.
I meant to bring this up on the last episode recap or whatever. Goku's tail coming back. I, for some reason, did not remember that could happen. Steve, that doesn't happen in Z, right?
No. It's one of those things that never really gets addressed again. It's because it's one of those that later it becomes a more permanent thing. I don't remember why.
Is it that cutting it doesn't do anything, but actually pulling it, like, I guess pulling it at the roots gets rid of it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I did not know they could come back. So when it just popped up, I was like, what the fuck?
As someone without, like, foreknowledge, who's only seen, like, really this season, I will say there was, for me, like, an effective visual cinematic, like, cue to it, which was, it was the first time they did the black and white flicker of him, like, concentrating, and then the tail suddenly came back. So I was like, oh, he has achieved something new that is not something he's done before, you know? Whereas everything else has been, like, super easy for him. You know, he's always been like, oh, I can kind of one-shot anything. Like, you show me something, I do it. Giron's attack comes in, and Goku, like, actually closes his eyes and, like, holds his hands up in, like, defense, and they do the thing where they go to black and white with this, like, nice kind of sketchy flickery effect, and all of a sudden the tail's back. They do that effect later, but they have not done it prior with Goku.
Right.
Like so it's like him, like, it did feel like I got the visual language of this is weird. Like it is supposed to be marked as Goku did something different that he wasn't even fully conscious of. So it may be like a latent Saiyan ability that he's not fully aware of.
It's just strange because that does come into play later, and I don't recall tails ever coming back once they've been removed.
Right.
So it really threw me off.
Your theory is it's because Puar just like cut it versus actually like removing it surgically.
Possibly. I can't remember though. Anyway,
at least visually, they gave me something to go, oh yeah, this is supposed to be it. Yeah, like, okay, like you know, it was told well in a way where I was like, oh, this is like a big deal. Got it. Thanks, show. Oh, this episode also had the weird thing of we're at a point now where the weird, like, I'm just gonna keep calling him like Agent Smith announcer dude because that's just what he fucking looks like to me, as like a weird like Agent Smith. They're doing interviews with everybody, and the way the crowd reacted to Master Roshi's name when the kids are like, we were trained by Master Roshi, the way they reacted for a good 10 seconds led me to believe was like, oh, you mean everyone knows him to be the notorious criminal that he is? But then they just revealed that it's like, yeah, he's a renowned martial artist. Also, it was halfway through Roshi's song and dance that I really questioned what drives Master Roshi. Like, why is he actually doing this? Because we have not revealed yet why he's doing this, but I was like, why did he need to do this?
Did he and Goku like train this? Did they plan? The way Goku just jumps in and just immediately joins the choreography. I was like, what?
I only hope the FBI catches Roshi alive so that we can study him. Again, like we would a Hannibal Lecter. I think we'll learn so much about the psychology of the deranged. All right, episode 25. Goku defeats Nam in his semi-final match against Nam, despite both opponents being skilled warriors throwing each other off balance throughout. Afterwards, Jackie-Chun stops Nam before he leaves and gives him a dino capsule that can be used for storage to solve his water problem. Nam asks Jackie how he knew, and Jackie reveals that he can read his mind. Nam realizes that Jackie is Master Roshi, but Jackie explains that he doesn't want the boys to think they're the strongest in the world if they win this tournament, as they will stop trying to improve. Nam returns Roshi's favor by dressing up like him and standing in the crowd. Yamcha sees both and no longer believes Jackie-Chun is Master Roshi. Yeah, so Nam is the best of us. I really liked this. So the back half of these episodes, this is definitely the kind of stuff I like in a tournament story. Like, you know, Nam is like this honorable fighter doing it for the right reasons, and Goku and Krillin are coming together as friends and learning to develop, and old enemies are rising up from the past for Krillin, and like the new rivals, they're various kinds of different scoundrels, and you know, I like this shit. You know, like this is why I like Bloodsport. I find so boring because I'm like, it doesn't take advantage of any of this versus like an Enter the Dragon, Ip Man. You know, like there's so many good movies that do this that I really like, and this is kind of like feeding it's scratching that itch for me.
And is this the first time that Roshi does anything nice?
Giving Nam the capsule is the only good thing Roshi has done, but he did invade that person's mind, so he's still a Professor Xavier level nightmare.
Yeah.
Also, though, isn't Bulma the real monster, since she could be giving those capsules out to these poor areas? Doesn't she make them?
Yeah, but then she wouldn't have money.
All she does with her money is hang out in a city and wait for her boyfriend she can't recognize to come back.
And all she does with the Dragon Balls is wish to look prettier.
It's like
She's a very vain Elon Musk type.
she's just Elon Musk. Like, it's so funny that she's just Elon Musk. Like, it's not even if this show came out now, people would be angry at this show the way they're angry at The Boys for Homelander just being Trump.
Still fascinating that that's happening now.
It took everybody 4 fucking seasons of television to get it. Yeah. Well, you know, there's no media literacy in this country. I actually thought the Goku Nam fight was like really well done. It's one of those things where it was the bulk of the episode. It was pretty much the entire episode, but it actually felt like there were the pacing and the stakes were all correct, and I have often been kept at arm's length from this franchise by their extended fight sequences. But I thought this was a really good example of like, this whole episode is basically a fight sequence, but I know who these characters are. There are stakes, and I feel like I'm learning more about the characters as the fight goes on. So I was like, really, I was into this. This was really working for me. I feel like at this point, like we're kind of firing on all cylinders on this season. It's finally like coming to fruition. It was a slow start, but I'm really liking this so far. But Steve, you mentioned that you actually prefer the first half. How do you feel about this tournament stuff? Like now that we're in the tournament part.
I mean, I like the whole thing. The first half is just what I think of when I think of Dragon Ball. Like the whole training arc is something that just comes to mind immediately. I don't know why. I don't know why that's always stood out for me. But it's just something that I've always enjoyed and just always felt those weird little training arcs and stuff like that just feel quintessentially Dragon Ball to me.
And it's, you know, obviously it's a mainstay of these kinds of stories. You know, I felt it was actually pretty satisfying as this has been going. Let's see. Episode 26. Okay, Goku and Master Roshi, in disguise as Jackie-Chun, face off in the final match. After Goku learns how to fly by using his tail as a helicopter, Roshi challenges Goku to use the Kamehameha Wave, which, to Roshi's surprise, Goku can now not only conjure, but match Roshi's power. Roshi attempts to best Goku with a double after image, but Goku is then able to create a triple after image. Roshi is able to push Goku back with the drunken boxing technique, the unpredictability throwing off Goku. Yamcha explains Roshi's tactic to Goku, allowing Goku to counter with the crazy monkey attack, preventing Roshi from catching him. Roshi realizes that the next move will win the match and prepares a mysterious new attack. Guys, we did it. Our first multi-episode fight begins here. Pop the confetti, get the champagne. 4 more years. Multi-episode fights are here. Feels like a milestone in and of itself. this is what this franchise to me is known for, and this is it. This is where it begins, right?
Yep.
Like, I will say this. Also, the other nice little thing I did not really expect to be in this franchise because I've always heard it in others. Is oh my god, what is the name of it? The anime shine sound effect happened in this episode, guys.
Oh yeah.
I paused because listeners at home, you definitely just heard it because I'll definitely remember to put it in.
What was the effect for? I can't remember.
Goku is thrown into the sky.
Oh.
And everyone's looking into the sky, and the clouds part, and then a glint off the sun in a cloud, and it just happens.
Yep,
and then
that's
Goku
right.
returns. And I was like, I'll admit, there was a 12-year-old part of me who went, oh, that's cool. Also, this also had my favorite joke in the entire season, not because it's particularly clever, just because of the delivery, where Roshi keeps fucking up and revealing that he's Roshi, and Goku cannot fucking get it. And when Goku starts questioning him about the Kamehameha wave, and Roshi goes, well, my Kamehameha waves are different. And then Goku just goes, how so? He just got to this blank expression on Roshi.
He just wants to know. He's like, come on,
How so? Like, he's curious, totally innocent. Fucking loved it. Oh, this is the other meta moment. The announcer jumped up and looked at camera. And he started talking to us, and I went, wait, is this supposed to be televised, or is this just like a meta-breaking thing? Because I don't think it's been televised this whole time, has it?
As if I recall correctly, there were no cameras anywhere.
Yeah, right? Also, I did enjoy Roshi had a fake family chart ready, but didn't have any other thing prepared for this cover story. I had one other note of this is I did like there are two notes. I liked the visual touch of Roshi, of like you panned across Roshi's like multiple Roshi faces in the same location to portray his inner monologue. Like it looked like 10 Roshis in a row, each with a different thought in the same place, and the camera just sort of panned across them. Mm-hmm. I thought that was just a really cool visual way to explain an inner monologue, as opposed to a freeze frame on someone while someone talked.
Right.
Yeah.
Episode 27. The sun sets as the final match between Goku and Roshi, still disguised as Jackie Chun, continues. Roshi hypnotizes Goku and puts him to sleep. But before the count reaches 10, Bulma yells that Goku's dinner is ready. Desperate, Roshi uses an attack that he's only ever used once before, the Lightning Flash surprise attack. He gathers his energy and shoots it at Goku. However, Goku sees the full moon and transforms into his great ape form. Roshi fires a powerful Kamehameha wave in response. In the aftermath, Goku is gone, leaving everyone to believe he was killed by Jackie Chun. Also, I like that rock, paper, scissors / Junkin is just part of this tournament as a technique. I thought that was kind of fun.
I mean, it seems like you can do basically anything in the tournament. You use the Nimbus Cloud, come back in. Yeah.
Yeah. It was weird when you were like, you can't hypnotize someone, and he was like, why not? And I'm like, yeah, why not? You can do fucking anything.
You can do whatever you want. You can do it once.
Yeah.
It's basically like, well, if it hurts someone, isn't it a martial art? And you're like, I mean, I guess.
It's that Fist of the North Star callback where it's just like you call throwing dynamite a martial art, and well, it works.
Yeah, I threw it with my body, so yeah. It works, right? I just thought it was funny that Roshi has this inner monologue moment where he basically thinks he has to kill this child to teach him something. And it's just like, I also thought it was funny when that Roshi is revealed to be jacked.
Oh, yeah. He does that a couple of times. Did he not do that in the last season when he did the command?
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he put out the Ox King's Mountain, a.k.a. destroyed the Ox King's Mountain.
Did he take his shirt off to do that?
And he got
remember.
real swole.
Anytime he does any, like, major Kamehameha or whatever, he bulks up and all that. It's kind of like, it reminds me a lot of, like, All Might, like reverse All Might, I guess.
Oh, yeah. My reference would be Bane.
That too. Yeah. The only other note I had on this is that because I hadn't watched this far and because I didn't know Tails could come back, I was surprised that this became a thing again. Like him turning back into an ape and all that.
Well, don't worry, Brian, because it's about to not be a thing.
And to never be a problem again.
Well, we're on to the third part of the fight. So not only is it the first multi-episode fight, we didn't even do a two-parter. We went right to a three-parter, which it's Dragon Ball now, boys. Like, Roshi reveals the actual target of his Kamehameha wave was the moon. Returning Goku to his humanoid form, the match resumes with both of them exhausted. After a long fight, both kick each other in the face and knock each other out, meaning the first person to stand and declare victory will win. Goku finally stands, but collapses before declaring victory. Roshi then stands and announces himself as the winner. Later, Roshi retires the Jackie Chan disguise and returns to his friends. They dine, and Goku is so hungry from the battle that he eats so much food that Roshi must spend almost all of the prize money on dinner. So Roshi blew up the moon? Like, does this world not have a moon anymore?
So
Feels like this world needs a moon, given that there are oceans and, I don't know, tides? Like,
so
That's fine.
this confused me a little bit because the moon is back later, and as far as I
I'm
remember,
sorry, how?
as far as I remember, they also destroy the moon again later.
what the fuck? Are you serious?
So maybe the moon just regenerates every couple days.
No, there's a reason why the moon is back. And yeah, there's a reason why the moon is back later. So
There's a reason why they destroy it again later,
yep.
and it comes back again later.
You don't have to fully spoil it, Steve, but if you want to drop us some juicy hints as to how the moon returns, I'd love
Is
to
it the
know.
Dragon Balls?
I was about to say, this is, if I recall correctly, this is a series about magic wish balls.
I mean, if someone's like, hey, we need the moon back and I'm going to wish for that, that is not the worst wish.
The world has been destroyed since that tournament. Can we please have the moon back?
It is hilarious when the announcer is right when he calls Jackie a monster for blowing up the moon, although his reasons are dubious, except for I liked it. He's like, well, what would the Wolfman do? And I was like, what will the Wolfman do? Is he permanently a wolf? Or can he never be a
Now
man
he's
again?
just a man.
Also, this is the first. My guess is they were in previous episodes, but in the crowd shots of the martial arts tournament, for whatever reason, the final episode is the first time I noticed there's a panda in a business suit, and I would like to know more. That's all. I would just really like to know more about the panda in the business suit. Also, the weightlifter Goku abducted earlier in the season apparently wants to keep staring. One, they're there, and two, wants to keep staring at Goku's naked child body, and that's just in this show now. So I don't know what the fuck that was about.
Yeah, just Goku nudity's just a prevalent thing.
Also, it feels like Goku would definitely be told by others about the whole Great Ape transformation at this point. Like his friends cannot cover this up anymore, right? Like everybody saw this.
Well, you also have to recall that, one, they don't want to traumatize him by reminding him that he killed his grandfather.
Right, but the whole other
Well, right.
everyone in the world saw.
Right, but Goku's also an idiot.
That's true. Well, Krillin does allude to it.
Yeah,
and
he
Goku's
tries
like,
to,
"You're silly."
explain it.
Goku's like, "You're a weird kid, Krillin." Late, like walks away. And this is where, like, I do think, like, something that I thought worked really well in this season is the culmination of the Goku Krillin behavior. It felt very, like, authentic to, like, children, like where, like, Krillin like Krillin's like, "Oh, I'm sorry I lost the tournament." Goku's kind of bummed, and Krillin's like, "Want to go get dinner?" And like Goku gets excited, and I was like, "Oh, right, they're like kids. Like this feels like, oh, Goku made a friend. That's cool." I thought that was nice. It just felt very authentic to how kids are.
That and Goku literally only cares about food forever. Like,
You know,
it could be the
he
saddest.
exerts a lot of energy. I don't know. I mean,
It could be the saddest day of his life, and you'd be like, "Well, I have food," and he'd be like, "All right."
yeah, and he bankrupted Roshi, which is the only kind of justice we can hope for Roshi, which is him financially suffering in a capitalist system, I guess, because certainly no one will bring him to justice for any of his other crimes. And then we end with the most ominous of setups: a small blinking red light on a mountain. Take note, MCU. This is how you do it, I guess. Which I guess alludes to the Red Ribbon Army, whatever they are, other than cyborgs, I think, or something. Robots in disguise.
There are lots of things.
And they will be around forever.
How sexually aggressive are they?
I don't know that they aren't all of them. I don't want to speak because I haven't seen it, but I think they're all men, and I don't think any of it's sexual, but I could be wrong.
Steve, how sexually aggressive are the robots?
Nah, they're not bad.
Not bad compared to like Roshi, or compared to like normal.
Compared
life?
to normal society, I think they're fine.
Oh, thank God. This was the tournament saga. Hopefully, we'll be bringing this stuff on a more expedient schedule now that I myself am a part of the Red Ribbon Army. Anyway, well, we did it. I don't have a way to end this.
Yeah, we're doing it.
I was gonna think of a iconic line to reference from Dragon Ball, and when one happens, I'll be sure to remember it to bring it back.
You could just say like, "See you later, guys," and play that little shine sound.
Oh yeah! Everyone, quickly look to the sky.
Bling.
Did you hear it? Did I remember to do it? Did I remember to do it? I guess we'll find out. Did I remember? Ooh, who knows? Who knows what David will do when he edits this weekend? Who can say what he recalls? Anyway, I've been David.
I guess I've been Steve.
I think we all forgot.
Yeah, I was about to say, we haven't done that in a while.
Brian still hasn't done it.
I've been Brian.
There you
Hey.
go.
Attaboy.
You've been listening to Cattywampus. You can follow us on Instagram at CattyWampusPod. Email us at cattywampuspodcast@gmail.com. Music by Tilly.